Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Real excited about my next guest, a guy I've known for a long time, a real talented actor. You know him from The Sopranos and Big Pussy, of course. That's The Sopranos. You don't know him from that separately. But he's also in The Family with my buddy Jimmy Palumbo coming out September 13th with De Niro. The great Vincent Pastore. What's up, man?
Thank you, Artie.
How you doing, Vin?
I'm a little tired because
you're working on another thing now,
I'm
huh?
working, but we're working nights. I mean, you know, nights is crazy.
I don't like overnight night. Like till about 1 a.m. we go here. That's enough.
No,
when you go to 6 a.m.
I worked at 6 a.m. this morning.
You doing like splits and stuff like that?
Man,
Yeah.
you know, call time 7:30 at night. Gina Gershon's in the movie.
Right. Now,
So
Staten Island Summer?
Staten
Did you hear this,
Island
Mike?
Summer.
They're doing a movie called Staten Island Summer. How could you not be in this? Bichetti's a comic from Staten Island.
I know this guy.
You know Bichetti?
Yes, you
Yeah.
should be in the movie. Show up on the set Monday. I'll put you in the scene with me. I swear to God.
Really?
I'll put him in.
Yeah, he'll show up. Don't watch yourself.
It's
He'll
at
show up.
the pool, something, kilt pool, I don't know.
He'll show up. He'll Google it. He'll Google map it.
And I play Ashley Greene's father, the girl from Twilight.
Oh, okay.
And everybody wants to, slip it to her, and I won't. I'm very possessive.
You'll have none of that.
No, I won't let that happen.
Now, you're Staten Island Summer, so you got to, are you working a lot?
3 weeks in Staten Island.
And you just got back from France, so that must be the same
No,
thing.
we shot that. We
Last year.
shot that. Yeah, me and Jimmy were over there.
Now, how was that? Jimmy said it was a blast.
It was.
Yeah, how could that not be fun? You got over there.
I worked one day, and then I didn't have to work for 9 days. So I said,
off.
I said, look, what do you want me to do? He says, you want to go to Paris? I said, yeah, all right. So I went to Paris for 9 days and waited.
Yeah. I've been to Paris. It can be nutty there. Did you have fun in Paris?
I like Paris.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
They call me La Poussée.
Now, I'm going to say, The Sopranos is all over the world, right? I mean, you get recognized from that all over.
Yeah, and even more so now because of Jimmy's death.
Yeah, now let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, listen, honestly, I've known you for a while, and we worked on something together. But, it's very rare that an actor gets to be part of something that special. I mean, The Sopranos is arguably the best TV show of all time. And you, main character, one of the most memorable characters in there. One of the most memorable scenes is, you getting killed by, your one-time friends
Jimmy
in a boat by Jimmy and
little Steven.
And Steven and Paulie Walnuts and those guys. How close do you get to a guy like Gandolfini? I've heard nothing but nice stuff about him. And did you know him still as a friend, or hadn't you seen him in a while?
Well, we started the show together. We didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, you were the real beginning of the show.
You go in, you audition, you do a pilot, and then you find out a few months later after you do the pilot, you got picked up, and then you go do a year.
It's a long process,
and it didn't air yet.
Yeah, especially a drama that's shot like that's a long.
Yeah,
process.
we didn't, and they wouldn't let any of it air until the first 13 episodes were done. So then after it aired, then boom.
Did you know it was special? Because guys like you and me, sometimes you get typecast. There's a lot of mob things you do, and a lot of them don't work well. And this, when you're doing it, did you say, God, I know this is something that's different?
Well, Artie, character actor working my way up since around 1899. 1999, for me to be given a supporting role on a television show.
Right.
And for me to be given dialogue written, that's how David and everybody wrote. They said, okay, let's write this around Sirico. Let's write this around little Steven. Let's write this around
You guys would
Vinny.
each get moments, sometimes full episodes. Like you have that amazing episode where you go to the party and you decide to take the wire off and
I
you're
go in the
crying in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, that's real acting, man. Those are moments.
Well, I've seen you cry in the bathroom a few times.
Yeah, well, we all got bad coke every once in a while. But, so it really was. You each got a moment to shine, and sometimes a full episode to shine. And you're all working around this guy, Gandolfini, who was unknown at the time. But my God, just really a special actor.
Well, the connection between Jimmy and I, as Tony and Big Pussy, had to be special,
right.
Because we knew as we were going into each episode that there was going to be a downfall for me.
How long into the show did you know that? From the beginning, did you know he was going to flip?
No, I knew between the first and second year, David called me up and he said, "This is what's going to happen with your character."
Right.
And we knew there was going to be an end eventually
Right.
of my character on the show, and every time you would pick up a script, you wonder if it's this week.
But that means you're right. That means the acting between you and Gandolfini has to be more like special in a way because
'Cause you don't know.
That bond has to be established to where you got to see how tough it is for him to make that decision when it has.
And you also have to develop a relationship of friendship.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like all of a sudden you go on a movie, I'm playing this girl's father, Ashley Green. I don't know. I watched Twilight. I said, play a vampire. I'm a father. But when you work with Jimmy, it's like, okay, let's go out tonight, or let's do something.
gotta hang out, yeah.
let's bond. And I already knew Sirico and little Steven and I got together, but it was very important for me and Jimmy to get together. So to cut to the end, when you get a phone call and you say, we just lost Jimmy, you don't believe it.
Brutal.
You don't believe it.
Yeah, yeah. 51,
And I'm gonna
what,
tell you
right?
something.
52 years
Yeah,
old. Whatever.
and between my mother, my father, Jimmy's, it was right up there.
Devastating.
It was right up there.
Yeah. Now, had you been talking to him a bit, or were you guys just, because you're working?
Well,
you
the
hadn't
last
seen each other?
time I was with Jimmy was at the 12-12 event, and what happened
Oh,
is that
okay.
they asked us to go answer phones. They called
Right.
me up, and I run around with little Steven now at East Street and with
Right.
the Rascals.
Right.
And I knew Steven was going to answer phones, and Maureen Van Zant and me, but we said, let's see if we can get Jimmy. So once we got Jimmy, then all of a sudden we had 25 more Sopranos.
Right. So it was. I remember.
And we
that.
had
It
our
was kinda
own
cool.
room,
Right, it
and who was
cool.
in the room with us? Adam Sandler was in the room with us. We were all drinking and watching The Who. That was the last time I was with Jimmy.
Oh, yeah, that's rough, man. That's rough.
You know?
So, I mean, did you get to know his family at all? Did you know? Like,
Yeah,
on
you
that
know,
level,
went
like-
to the wedding,
Yeah.
and one of the great things about James, I'm glad we're talking about Jimmy tonight. One of the great things about Jimmy is that he shared. You know,
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to mention no names, but when this guy that you used to work for got a raise, did he give you a piece of his raise?
Right, you're right. Yeah, no,
Right.
you're sure.
But that's what
it's
Jimmy did. When he
unbelievable,
got
yeah.
a raise, he would give us some money from his money.
Right.
We got checks.
I read
from
that story.
Attaboy
That was
Production.
astonishing when I read that story. That's amazing.
And
that's
Roger
really
Haber
dumb.
would cut checks for us,
Yeah.
and then he would out and buy us things to put when you get a piece of his raise.
When he did that just
Jeez.
because he was upset that he made you guys wait and were part of the circus with the renegotiation.
He
and everything.
did that because he felt we deserved a piece of the pie.
And that too, right? Which is even more important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. You knew that show was going to, on its way to be iconic, and especially your character. Where I remember right before the season started, where you get whacked, the Entertainment Weekly had a cover story on you guys, and all it said was "Where's Pussy?" No one had seen no one knew you. You were away,
knew I
obviously,
was.
and you had to come
Yeah,
back and
yeah.
make up the story and everything. And it's funny, people talk about that. You meet people in the Midwest and everything, and they don't get how a tough guy could be nicknamed that. There was one gangster in Newark, Little Pussy Russo. That
So you know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my
Yeah.
whole family's from North Newark.
So you know these guys, those were their names.
Yeah, those were their names. It's just like an ironic thing. Like, try to make fun of me for it.
Yeah, that was their
That's
name.
why they were. So when you get a script and you see that's your character and stuff, what do you think?
You don't care. You want to work.
You want to work.
I don't care if they call me Mud, No. but-
Now, after you do that, obviously you had episodes where you came back as a ghost here and there and
Yeah.
stuff, but you had to miss it, man, so much, right?
I think my wallet missed the most.
Yeah, that's
you know.
true. Right,
I mean,
yeah.
everybody else is going on making some money. But you know what happened to me, Artie? I was fortunate because I was one of the first guys not to be on the show, so I got some decent movie offers.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and I went out and I did some good movies. I did Made with Favreau and
That's
Vince Vaughn.
you're great in that. That's a
You know,
great movie.
I
Right.
did Hurricane with Denzel, Servant Sarah with Matthew Perry. I went out and I did some movies.
Yeah.
And I was doing that while,
Were you a fan? You were typecast at all a little bit?
Hey, I'm doing a Broadway play. Guess what I'm playing? I ain't playing a priest, man. I'm playing a gangster with Woody Allen. So that's what I get.
God
you know?
bless.
What was it like to work with Guy Ritchie?
Well, that's why I'm in the movie now with De Niro, because it's Luc Besson Productions.
Oh, okay.
What happened is this is a great story. I'm in L.A. doing The Practice, which was Michelle Pfeiffer's husband, David Kelly, and called me up and said, do The Practice. And I was doing 3 episodes with Michael Balalucco, and we were going to go into Boston Legal, and then something happened with our contract, because they gave me a 7-year deal to go into Boston Legal.
Right.
So I'm doing that. And then my agent calls me up and they said, you got an appointment with Guy Ritchie tomorrow. I said, where? At the house on Sunset Boulevard. Because P. Diddy took a picture of me with his sweatsuit on, and he put it on the wall when you're going down Sunset, the Hilton. I look like King Kong up there with a cigar. So Richie said to me, he was driving down Sunset, and he saw the thing, and he says, I want to meet this guy. So I went up, and I met Guy, and I had to read the script, Revolver, maybe 10 times, because it was a lot of Kabbalah stuff. So he said to me, do you get the script? And I said, yeah, I get it. And I was telling him, you know, how I got it, and I dug it, and he gave me the part right there. And then I went to London, and we spent back and forth about 3 months in London, and then the Isle of Man, doing this work. And because Luke is so generous. He is generous, man. When you go to Paris for the premiere, he put me in a suite as big as this.
Right.
And then when Luke says...
And you stayed at his house out there, right?
When I went back the second time, you know, it's like everybody in New York is auditioning. It was called Malavita. Oh, Vinny, did you go up for this and go up for that? And I was sitting back and said, yeah. Nobody called me yet. But I knew Artie. I knew the guy was going to take care of me. And then all of a sudden, he said, would you do this? And then you'll see it in the movie. It's a cameo. Right. But it's a great cameo because if there's going to be sequels... I'm going to be in the sequels.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So not to tell you too much about the story.
You have your background. You started in the restaurant business, right? In
restaurants? I wouldn't call them restaurants.
Well, I've heard different things. I don't know.
I ran discos.
Oh, you did?
And then I opened up a rock and roll place called the Crazy Horse, which I'm actually developed into a play now. And while we were waiting to come on, I'm with Nicky Clemens in the back. Nicky's in my play.
Nick, sure, yeah.
Nicky's in my play.
Nick, hey, Nick, what's up, buddy?
You
How
know,
you doing, man?
he's in my play that we're going to open in New York, and we're going to invite you down. So I wrote a story about the bar scene in the 80s, you know.
Right.
But that's what I did. I ran bars. I ran rock and roll bars like the musicians.
The Crazy Horse, because that's a famous place. Yeah.
Well, it's a famous strip joint, but my joint wasn't a strip joint. My joint was a rock and roll joint.
But this was in Manhattan?
No, it was in New Rochelle.
In New Rochelle,
yeah,
okay.
New Rochelle.
And now how do you get into acting? What happens?
Matt and Kevin used to come into Dylan's. And we used to get drunk, and I used to take them home. And one day, Matty said, you got an appointment tomorrow with Kevin's manager. And I said, what? And they said, we think you could become an actor. That's a true story.
Yeah.
So I went down, and Kevin's people kind of guided me.
It's funny, because that's Pesci's story. Is a very similar story. Him and De Niro and Scorsese found him working at a restaurant in the Bronx.
Yeah, well,
on Arthur Avenue.
Yeah, well, Joe Dante was handling... I don't know if we could be talking about these. Can we talk about wise guys on your show? Real wise guys? You know, Joe Dante from Pelham Bay, he was close to Pesci.
Right.
And they were going to do Raging Bull, and there was certain deals if you're going to shoot this movie in my neighborhood. So they said, you got to go see Pesci. Yeah. And they pushed Pesci. And
that's
Pesci,
great. See, I never heard that aspect.
Yeah, and they said, so De Niro and Scorsese went to the restaurant on Arthur Avenue, 187th Street. And
by Pasquale Rigoletto's and Dominic's.
Well, I was there last week.
Oh, is that the best? That's the best pork and sweet vinegar peppers.
Sunday, I was there last Sunday. Why, you eat there?
I eat there all the time before Yankee games.
We're talking about Pasquale, Rigoletto's.
On Arthur Avenue.
All right, best food around.
Oh my God, like the seafood salad.
And and Patsy was there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, talking about the guys.
Yeah. I love it. My God, the fish is always fresh, but then they have a pork with sweet vinegar peppers. Oh my God.
But you're not Italian.
Yeah, I'm mostly Italian.
What do you mean mostly?
My mother is all Italian. My father was part Italian. I got the.
So what was your mother's maiden name?
Caprio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Caprio and Manto was the other side of her family. All from North 8th Street.
Oh, okay.
In Newark, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's I know Little Pussy Russo and all the guys.
Yeah. Okay.
But so I lived in Newark for a while as a kid. So
you know all that stuff.
Yeah.
You do.
But
this guy don't say nothing.
No.
Well, he's from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
They
got the Amish mob out there.
Supposedly, I don't know if that's legit.
What is that show?
I don't think it's real.
The Amish mob. I got the Amish mob out there. They seem like tough bastards. You're looking at that. Did you ever
Yeah.
hear the Amish Mafia?
No, I never did.
No.
I think that might be a TV construction. Because why would they be letting cameras film them anyway?
Because
Like-
they're stupid. They're
Well,
Amish.
that's the thing. If you're truly Amish, you feel as though that sort of technology is stealing your soul. If you're getting your picture,
It's all about
taken.
money. Forget about the soul.
Yeah, I don't think it's legit.
That's hilarious. The Amish mob.
So how do they say? I am the mob. I'm in the mob.
I don't know.
I am a made man.
I am the made man.
I am the made man. Die.
Yeah, nothing's electric. They got to change.
How you gonna?
They throw bullets at you.
They use like a
Nothing's electric.
slingshot.
Nothing. There's no Tommy gun. There's nothing. They haven't got
There's some
nothing.
getaway if they rob the bank with the horse and the
just-
buggy, man.
Takes a lot of
Hey,
time.
I tell you what, getting stuck behind those things on a single
He grew
lane
up there.
road.
You had to grow up
oh.
there, so you would intermingle. Like you would be behind them in traffic.
Sometimes, I mean, I didn't live in Lancaster, but
You were right
close
next to it.
enough. Yeah,
Oh
you
my
get stuck
God.
behind them. It is awful. It's yeah.
You see,
can't
that's
get around.
amazing. That's amazing aspect of the Raging Bull story, Pesci, what you just talked about. Because it's funny. Like a lot of times in that situation, like, oh damn, we got to use this guy, but then he just happened to be unbelievably.
You want to hear about
talented.
the Goodfellas story? I can talk about this now. Wait a minute.
Yes, you can.
Marty had to give 45 guys union cards.
Well, of course. That
Marty's
sounds
gonna
light.
say 45 guys got union cards to do Goodfellas, and I bet they never acted again after that.
No, that sounds light. That's fine. When do I show up? Yeah, but yeah, you got me thinking about Arthur Avenue. Did you ever have the stuffed artichokes at Dominic's there?
I don't like to go to Dominic's.
You don't
I
like
mean,
that?
I don't know if they're going to be mad because I'm saying
Is
it,
it
but
still,
I don't.
it's open and closed, that place.
Now, Dominic's, you gotta sit next to, like I maybe sit next to him, and I don't want to sit next to him. I want to go and sit there and eat at my own table.
Well, not him
Oh, like
personally.
you're brushing up against
I don't know.
someone?
I don't know if he would be up there. And then they give you what they made that day.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. There's no real menu.
Give
There's
me
no
a
real
menu. I mean, I want my sausage and peppers. I don't want ziti left over from
The
like
one
last
guy,
week.
there's a guy at Pasquale Reglanos who hates Joe DiMaggio. He's got a great, he's like DiMaggio didn't tip him or something, and he hates him. There's a guy waiter has a great story about it. Those guys are characters because you get a story, you eat, it's beautiful.
I went up there last week to talk to some guys about something I'm doing with Frank Vincent down in Florida.
Yeah.
And we got there 2 o'clock. We stayed there. We were eating still at 7 o'clock at night.
You can't stop eating at that place because the bread keeps coming.
Keeps coming, and you don't want to leave.
It's
You
fantastic.
know, right.
Good conversation.
Then there's a guy in the parking lot in the back. He said, "Watch my." He says, "I'll watch your car." It's Sunday, man. You don't have to pay for the meter. What do you mean, watch my car? I said, "You give the guy $20."
Yeah, you don't pay
watch
the
my
meter.
car.
Well, that's on Sundays. You don't pay the meter, you pay him. Gotta take a break. We come back. We're talking with Vinny Pastore, and when we come back, he's going to be in The Family, September 13th. He's shooting Staten Island Summer right now. We'll talk more to Vinny after these words. The Artie Lange Show.